Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Danielle and I'm the owner of Damn Fancy Creations and the Drunk Flamingo Glitter. In case you guys are new to my channel, I do want to let you know that all of my links and groups are going to be posted in the description below in case you guys want to check those out. In today's tutorial, we're going to cover everything you see listed here. I absolutely love how this tumbler turned out. It is a relatively simple cup. We're just going to be laying different strips of vinyl, but the different textures of all the vinyl really pulls this cup together and gives it a really cool, fun look. If you guys have questions about anything that I go over, please feel free to ask in the comments. For now, we're going to go ahead and get started on this tutorial, and I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you get notified when my new tutorials drop. Alright guys, so here are the two vinyl patterns we're going to be using. The tooled vinyl you can find in my shop, thedrunkflamingo.com, and the FLoral Leopard is from Confidently You. I will link her below. I already popped the bottom off of this tumbler and cut my vinyl into random strips. I cut them probably between a ½ inch to about 1.5 inches. I just picked random sizes. I did not want them to be all the same. I really wanted that kind of staggered look. And I am basically just going to pick one strip, place it at the very top of my tumbler and smooth it down. I am going to leave some overhang so I can fold the bottom over the bottom rim of the tumbler. And I am basically just going to do this all around the cup. I am alternating vinyl so I don't have the same pattern next to each other. The Cowhide I will also link below. It was a digital file from Creative Fabrica. I do have a subscription through them. And I just downloaded the file and printed it on printable vinyl. And if you guys can see, I am not bringing this vinyl all the way to the top. I am leaving about 2 millimeters of the rim exposed so that when I epoxy and then go back and sand that rim, I'm not going to have little jagged vinyl pieces. And you guys can see I'm just kind of alternating the size of my strips. My first strip, the vinyl strip that I laid first, was larger because I am planning on applying a vinyl quote or word in that vinyl strip. So I wanted it a little bit larger than the other ones so that that one section would stand out and be large enough for me to apply a decent sized quote. This also would be fun to do somebody's name on that larger quote or something like that. And some of my little strips, I believe, are less than a ½ inch. This one may be about 1/4 inch. It was pretty skinny. And I needed to cut a couple more, so I just got out my little cutter. I don't even remember where I got this little Cricut cutter. I think I had it when I used to still teach. So I am just smoothing everything down now, making sure there's no bumps or bubbles or anything like that. Then I am just going to heat the vinyl a little bit just to make it a little more easily foldable, I guess. And then I'm just going to take the vinyl and kind of pull it, stretch it over the edge, and fold it into this cavity. If you guys did not know, the bottom of the Steel Magnolia tumblers can be removed. It's basically just a little cap that you can pop off. And I really like to pop off the bottom and fill this little cavity with glitter, rhinestones, something like that. It's kind of like a little surprise on the bottom of your tumblers that maybe customers weren't expecting. And I think it's really cute. So once we have that vinyl laid, I did not epoxy this yet. I am just going straight in to pinstriping. I like to use gold and black, especially for my Western colors. I just think the colors really go together. It's kind of just a classic feel. And for this particular tumbler, I am starting with gold, and I am just going to outline all of my vinyl pieces. And when I do pinstripes, I typically print a full 12 by 12 sheet at a time. And I usually cut out 3 different sizes. I usually do 0.07, 0.05, and 0.03. That way I have a decent variety of sizes. I have different sizes that I can layer on top of each other. So I have a few different possibilities when I am applying pinstripes to tumblers. And adding pinstripes to cups is probably one of my favorite things. I also do pinstripes on my spray painted plaid cup. I think it just gives a little bit more of a classy feel and gives kind of a sharper appearance. So once I am done outlining all of my vinyl strips with the gold, I am going back and I'm just going to pick a few different strips of vinyl to add an additional pinstripe. And I'm not doing this for all of my vinyl strips, but I really like the look of the gold vinyl on top of the tooled leather vinyl. Just that gold against the brown really pops. And it kind of highlights the highlights that are already on the vinyl. So now I am going to go back in with a thinner black pinstripe. And I'm going to lay that on top of all of the gold stripes that are outlining the vinyl. I am not going to apply black on top of the gold strips that are in between the vinyl. I'm doing it just on the ones that are outlining the vinyl, if that makes sense. So a few strips are just going to be gold. A few of them, or the majority of them I should say, are going to be gold layered with black. And I also want to mention, you guys can see my sheet of pinstripes right now. When I cut my pinstripes out, I space my pinstripes apart equally so that I can also use the stripes in between the stripes that I'm actually cutting. I hope that makes sense. So I end up being able to use the entire sheet of vinyl for pinstripes. And layering the black was probably the most time-consuming part of this whole tumbler. But what I love about this cup is that you can literally do this full tumbler start to finish in one step because there's no glitter on it. We are going to apply all of our vinyl and then we're going to epoxy everything. So it's a super quick tumbler, but I really like how it looks. And I also want to point out that you guys can still see that I am leaving this vinyl overhang just like I did with the first one. So once all of these vinyl strips are on, we're going to do the same thing that we did before. We're just going to heat it a little bit just to get those vinyl strips a little bit more flexible. And then we're just going to fold them down into that cavity. And after we get everything folded down, we're going to apply our decal. So we're going to find our largest strip. This is the quote I printed out. I will link the font I used in the description. A few of you asked that on a previous tutorial that I did. And I know one of the great debates in the tumbler world is, do we apply our vinyl going up the cup or down the cup? And in reality, it's really going to be the preference of your customer. But for me, I always apply my vinyl words, quotes, names, anything going from bottom to top. The reason I do this is because if you look at name brand items such as Coca-Cola, Pepsi, etc., if you look at their cans, all of their names, brands, Coke flavors, whatever, are all going from the bottom of the Coke to the top of the Coke. And they are large companies. I'm sure that they have paid thousands of dollars in research to figure out which way produced the more positive outlook on their products. So if these larger companies are all applying their names from bottom to top, that probably means that customers had a positive reaction to that setup versus the name going from top to bottom. I also like to do it this way because if you start your name from the bottom and apply it from bottom to top, when you look at the cup, it draws your eye upwards instead of down. So if you have a quote like this that reads hard to handle from bottom to top, as you read, your eye is going to go up the cup versus going down the cup if it was the other way. All right, so now that we have all of our vinyl on, we are going to take our blade and we're going to trim off this excess vinyl that is on the bottom rim of our tumbler. Then we're just going to pull off all of this excess vinyl. I like to use my little tweezers and kind of get everything out of this little cavity. And then I just like to kind of push all that vinyl down, make sure everything is adhered or attached to the cup. And after we have everything smoothed down, we're going to go in with Artistry's Quick Seal. And we're just going to make sure that all of these little vinyl pinstripes are sealed down and are not going to lift once we epoxy. That is probably my biggest pet peeve, is pinstripe vinyl lifting once you epoxy it. So I'm just going in with a medium brush. It really does not take a lot of the quick seal to actually seal your items. It's pretty much like brushing water onto your cup. I will usually do 2 coats of quick seal. I will let it dry for about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how thick my coat was. And then I will epoxy this 2 times with Artistry's 1:1 ratio fast set. It is my favorite epoxy. If you guys have not tried it, I do have a link and a discount code in the description. And once we have our cup coated with epoxy, we can fill this bottom cavity. So this is my tumbler after it has been epoxied. If you guys want to see how I epoxy, I do have other tutorials on my channel where I show you guys how to epoxy. This was just a quick little tutorial, so I didn't want to take up more time just showing how to epoxy the cup, in case you guys already know how to do that. So I'm just mixing up some epoxy with Midnight Cowboy, and we are just going to pour it in this cavity. I wanted this entire bottom to be one colored glitter. Sometimes I do one cavity a different color than the main cavity, but I really liked this color glitter with this tumbler, so I just did the entire base that color. You do have to watch out for air bubbles, so I will take this downstairs and pop all of my bubbles with my torch. And once this layer of epoxy cures, I will go back in with a clear layer of epoxy just to give it a nice smooth shine, and we won't feel any of those glitter grains that may have risen to the top. But once we get our bottom finished, this tumbler will be complete. So like I said, this was a super simple cup. We are just laying vinyl and glittering the bottom, but I really love how it turned out, and I hope you guys did as well. And here are some finished pictures of how this tumbler turned out. I really love it so much, just the colors and the textures that you get from such a simple cup. And if you guys decide to try this or something similar, please post it in the group. Y'all know I love to see the designs y'all come up with. And thank you for watching. If y'all enjoyed this tutorial or learned something new, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to catch the next video coming up that was picked just for you. As always, if you're looking for more tips, tricks, or tutorials, be sure to check out my tutorial group on Facebook or my Damn Fancy Tribe. Both are linked in the description. Thanks for watching.